Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
So we have a loyal listener in the Boston area by the name of Jimmy. Jimmy adores Marie Wilson, to the extent that if you go to our webpage, classicradio.stream, you'll see a piece he sent us of Marie Wilson in My Friend Irma. And we're going to hear an episode of My Friend Irma starring Marie Wilson this hour, going back to February 23rd, 1948.
Folks, later we'll announce the winners of the first Lever Fur contest. But now, Lever Brothers Company, makers of Swan, the soap with the exclusive super creamed blend, presents...
Our friend Swan.
With My Friend Irma.
Starring Marie Wilson as Irma and Kathy Lewis as Jane.
Friendship, friendship, just the perfect friendship. When other friendships have been forgot, theirs will still be hot. My friend Irma.
You know me, Jane Stacy. I'm a girl who never says I know all the answers, but with all modesty, I figure I know my way around. Then suddenly my roommate Irma Peterson comes out with one of her remarks, and Mother, I'm back at the Lost and Found department again. Take a classic example like last night. When I came home, I found Irma peering into a large kettle of water in which she dumped a bag of pretzels. Well, that stopped me, so I said, honey, why are you soaking those pretzels? And Irma said,
I couldn't buy any pretzel sticks, so I'm trying to straighten these out.
For a minute, I was tempted to do the same thing to her. But, knowing Irma, I just forgot the whole thing. Anyway, that was last night. Tonight, I'm going through some letters that have accumulated in the desk.
Jane.
Dear Jane, just a line to let you... What, honey?
Why do you save all your old letters?
Well, they're mostly from relatives, and since I don't see my relatives very often, it sort of makes me feel they're right here visiting with me.
Oh, I know what you mean, Jane. I still have all my old report cards.
From school?
Yes, they always used to kid me when I was in school. They said I'd never get out of there unless it burned down.
Yeah. How did you get out?
It burned down. Jane, you never told me very much about your relatives.
Well, honey, there isn't much to tell. Most of my family live in New England. They're fairly successful. My father had a drugstore, and my mother's just like all mothers, a little beyond the descriptive power of words. Gee, I can still see us on Thanksgiving. You know, Mom would make a turkey, and we'd all gather around and help her stuff it.
Gee, it makes me homesick. It's the same way at our house. Mother would bake a cake, and, we'd all gather around and help her try to lift it out of the oven.
You know, honey, while we're on the subject of families, it's just occurred to me that you've been going with Al for quite some time, and you know nothing of his background.
Come to think of it, I don't.
Oh. Did he ever mention any brothers or sisters?
No. In fact, he never even mentioned a mother or father. He's probably an only child.
Yeah. Came out of an egg. You know, Irma, I get kind of disgusted with you sometimes. Now, here is a man with whom you're contemplating marriage, and you know nothing about him. Remember, honey, when you marry a man, you marry his family. Come in.
It's only me, Professor Kropotkin.
Hello, Janie and Irma, my two little rooftops, one with a loose shingle.
Why, Professor.
Excuse me, a little joke I picked up from a carpenter. Well, what's new, Janie?
Oh, Professor, I'm having another one of my sessions with Irma. You see, I'm trying to convince her that it's important that she find out about Al's family, as long as she's got matrimony on her mind.
Oh, sure, Irma. Jane is right. It's very important that you know the background of the person you intend to marry. You know, there are two things that shape a man's character, heredity and environment.
Well, I don't know what they mean.
That's simple. Heredity is like when you say, his father was a bum and he's a bum.
What's environment?
That's when you come from a house full of bums. Of course, Irma, I know sometimes it's hard to trace a man's origin. Take me. I can't tell you where I was born because I don't know.
Well, why not?
When I was a little baby, I was found by a band of gypsies. For 12 years, I lived in a cave. It was dark and wet and cold.
Oh, that's terrible.
What do you mean terrible? I live better then than I do now upstairs. But fortunately, I turned out to be a charming fellow.
Well, I think Al is all right, and I don't want to pry into his private life.
Come in.
Hello, girls.
Oh, it's you, Mrs. O'Reilly. Come on in.
Oh, there you are, Professor.
Janie, hold her back.
Why? What's wrong? What happened?
Oh, I don't mind a little kidding about me age, but this time the professor's gone too far. Look at the note I found under my door.
Let me see. Yesterday was Washington's birthday, so I must stick to the facts. When Washington chopped down the cherry tree, tell me, Mrs. O'Reilly, did you hand him the axe? Oh, Professor.
Well, you tell her to leave me alone. 1 minute she flirts with me, and the next she nags me for the rent. I don't want to have anything to do with her for love or money.
Oh, you!
No, now, please, the two of you. Now, hush. Look, Irma, to get back to Al and his family.
Oh, it's no use talking. I'm not going to ask Al about his family background.
Oh, but you should, me darling. I remember when I was a young girl. Oh, it seems like yesterday.
Believe me, Mrs. O'Reilly, it's been a long day in between.
Go on with you. What I'm trying to say is that one day I met a policeman on a horse. What a beautiful animal. In 2 weeks we were married.
Where did you go on your honeymoon? Santa Anita?
Now listen here, you. I don't mind you picking on me, but I'm trying to explain to Irma how important a man's family is.
Sure, sweetie, we're just doing it for your own good. If Al was half a man, he'd tell you about himself.
Well, Jane, don't be ridiculous. If he was half a man, he'd be too short for me. Oh, that must be Al. Come in.
Hello, Jane. Hi, chicken.
Hello, Al, honey.
We were just running along, Al. Come on, Mrs. O'Reilly. I got a surprise for you.
A surprise?
Certainly. I'll show you the new window the wind put in my wall. Goodbye, girls.
Sorry they went. Wanted to tell them about my new deal.
Oh, no. Another one of your deals? What is it this time, Al? Putting feathers on frogs and selling them for squabs?
Oh, no, nothing so amateurish. Got one a little off the beaten track. It's a special jacket for suspicious characters. So when a cop says, stick 'em up, a skirt falls down, he ain't got the nerve to frisk you.
Gosh, Jane, wasn't it lucky? Wasn't I lucky to hook a fella like Al?
I'm not so sure. I'd like to see the ones that got away. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to take a shower. Honey, where's my shower cap?
Oh, I lent it to Professor Kropotkin. It rained last night.
Oh, it's grand. Well, I won't wet my hair. I'll just stand on my head.
Caustic character? Well, chicken, what are we waiting for? Let's you and I take over the sofa.
No, Al, I don't sit on the sofa with strangers.
Strangers? Chicken, what are you talking about?
Al, I don't know anything about you.
Chicken, do you like the way I put my arms around you?
Yes?
You like the way I kiss you? The way I let you sit on my lap?
Yes?
And how can you say you don't know anything about me?
That's beside the point. A man's lap has nothing to do with his background.
Chicken, I don't get it.
Al, before I let you kiss me, I'd like to know something about your family tree.
Chicken, I don't like this question. Shows a lack of trust. And true love can only exist on mutual confidence. It's got to be 50-50.
What do you mean 50-50?
You don't ask me any questions, I don't give you any answers. You get it?
Yes, that's 50-50.
Okay, chicken, let's get back to the sofa.
Oh, Al, we're not making any progress.
For getting back to the sofa, to me, that's progress.
Oh, Al, I insist on knowing about your family.
Well, chicken, if nothing else will satisfy you, there's only one man who can help us.
Who, Al?
Who else but... Hello, Joe. Al, got a problem. Joe, your folks used to know most of my relatives. I've been away so long, I kind of forgot. What were they like? Uh-huh. 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 Mm-hmm. What else is new, Joe? No, Joe, thanks. You don't have to give me the visiting days. Them joints give me the chills. Goodbye, Joe.
Well, did you find out anything about your family?
Joe didn't know a thing.
Then what were you saying about visiting days?
They're all expecting babies.
Al, you're not fooling me. You don't want me to know about your family.
Oh, look, chicken, can't we discuss this some other time? I gotta meet the boys. So I think I'll be running along. But, chicken, ain't you gonna kiss me?
No, Al. You have no sisters, no brothers, no cousins or uncles, no one to identify you. How do I know it's you? No, Al. Goodbye.
Well, if that's the way you feel, where's my coat? Goodbye.
Irma! Oh, honey, you're crying. Where's Al?
He's gone.
Oh, sweetie. Well, don't cry, sweetie. He'll be back. Oh, gee, it's all my fault. I shouldn't have insisted in finding out about his past. After all, you love the guy, and Irma, what's that envelope on the floor by your feet?
Envelope? Oh, this?
Yeah. Is it yours?
No. Oh, Jane, it has Al's name on it. Maybe he left me a note. I'll read it.
Yeah, honey, if it's addressed to Al, you shouldn't read his mail.
Oh, Jane.
What is it, sweetie?
It's a letter to Al from another woman. It says, Dear baby, I just read your last letter and it brought back those tender moments when I held you in my arms. Oh, Jane, I hate him.
Oh, honey, let me see that letter. Elizabeth, New Jersey.
Oh, so that's her name. Well, as far as I'm concerned, he can have Miss Jersey.
Don't get too excited, Jimmy. There's more to this than meets the ear. February 23rd, 1948, My Friend Irma on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Are you suffering with arthritis or osteoporosis? Do you have diabetes? Did you know that these are just two of the hundreds of diseases that have seen improvement with Dr. Wallach's incredible longevity products? You can't get them at a health food store. The only way to get them is to call us at 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Do you have heart disease, fibromyalgia, or high blood pressure? Do you have a terrible time losing weight? Dr. Wallach can help. He was a veterinarian and cured diseases in animals. He felt that he could do the same for humans, so he became a physician. Over 50 years of research and helping people like you goes into every bottle of Dr. Wallach's amazing discoveries. Do you want to feel better? Learn how to treat the cause of your problem rather than covering up the symptoms with drugs. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065.
Thanks for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater with me, Wyatt Cox. And now more of My Friend Irma, starring Marie Wilson, February 23rd, 1948.
Well, poor Irma's heart is broken. Just broken. I've never seen her so upset since the night she thought Al called her an animal because he invited her to the Elks' dinner. Anyway, now she's convinced that Al is leading a double life, and since, in a way, I'm kind of responsible for the turn of events, I've decided to get to the bottom of this whole affair, and I've phoned Al to come right over. Come in.
Oh, Janie. Well, where's Irma?
She went out. Al, I want to start off by telling you that I think you are the lowest type of cad there is, and that your despicable behavior is only equaled by your unmitigated, low-down, conniving methods.
Look, Jane, if you call me down here just for a character analysis...
Al, how could you do such a horrible thing?
What horrible thing?
Well, all right, I'll come to the point. Who is this other woman you've been running around with?
Other woman? Jane, what kind of a dope do you take me for? I love Irma.
Now, listen, Al, you're not playing with children. Take a look at this letter. Irma found it.
Let me see. My darling baby. Oh, so that's where I lost it. Jane, this is part of a letter my mother wrote to me.
Your mother? You have a mother?
Well, sure I got a mother. How do you think I got here? War surplus? I got a mother in Elizabeth, New Jersey.
Well, why have you been keeping it a secret? I can understand your mother not wanting it to get around, but but surely Irma should know.
Well, I know, Jane, but it's a pretty delicate situation. You see, I'm all my mom has got in this world, and, well, I've been sort of pulling a little wool over her eyes.
You mean she thinks you're working?
More than that. I told her I'm a big success. See, I send her half my unemployment check, and with the little that Pop left her, she gets by okay. And I'd rather die than disillusion her.
Yeah, but Al, doesn't she question the fact that you only send her $10 if you're so important?
Well, she did. But I explained that if I didn't practice thrift, I would never have become president of General Motors Corporation.
Al, how could you ever get your mother to believe that?
Oh, I had Joe print up these letterheads.
Yeah, let me see. General Motors Corporation. Assets, $60 million. President, Al. Address, main office, general delivery, box 42, New York City. Oh, Al.
You think I'm a crumb, huh, Jane?
No, Al, I think I kind of like you a little more than I did 5 minutes ago. I wouldn't want you to hurt your mother.
Oh, thanks, Jane. I figured you'd understand.
Yeah, but I'm the smallest part of your problem, Al. Irma is certain you're carrying on with another girl, and there's only one way to clear the whole thing up.
How?
Invite your mother over here so we can meet her. Then Irma will see for herself.
Well, I want Mom to meet Irma, but I'm afraid she might learn the truth about me, and that'd break her heart.
Yeah, but don't worry, Al. I'll back you up in everything you say. When I'm finished, your mother will think you own the Taj Mahal.
Okay, Jane, I'll call her up and have her here in an hour.
Good, Al. That'll be fine. I'm sure Irma will have finished committing suicide by then, and she'll be back.
Right, Jane. And look, whatever you do, no remarks about me being unemployed.
Oh, no. But Al, how about your suit?
Huh?
How'll you explain all those creases? Looks like it's been pressed in a Mixmaster.
Oh, I always tell Mom I don't have time to go to the bank, and my pockets are full of stocks and bonds.
Come right in.
Hello, Amber.
Irma, what are you doing up here in the Bronx?
Oh, Amber, I'm in the dumps.
Look, dearie, this place is just as good as where you live.
I didn't mean that, Amber.
Oh, Irma, you're crying.
Oh, Amber, it's happened. I'm miserable.
That can only mean one thing. You got married.
No, Amber. I never want to look another man in the face, and his name is Al.
What happened, dearie?
My Al is a two-timer. He's been going out with another woman.
Oh, it's the same old story. You never can trust a man. And if you do find one you can trust, he ain't worth trusting.
Oh, Amber, I'm so disappointed. I always thought my Al was different from other men.
Well, he is different. He don't work. Say, how did you find out about this other woman, Irma?
Oh, I found a letter from her. Oh, Amber, it's so hard to believe. Maybe I made a mistake. Maybe Al can explain it somehow.
Dearie, they all have alibis. He'll give you some line like it was his dear old mother. Well, don't fall for it. So many guys have used that excuse when they two-time me that for a while I thought every day was Mother's Day.
But, Amber, I love him, and I'd like to give him a chance to explain. I know he wouldn't pull that old mother line on me.
Well, go ahead and find out. Cool him up.
I think I will. And I'll show him. Just for that, I won't tell him about that extra unemployment check waiting for him.
Hello?
Hello, Albert?
Chicken! I've been trying to reach you.
Don't you chicken me, you... Amber, is this a party line?
Yeah.
Al, someday if you ever call me on a private wire, I'll tell you what I think of you.
No, wait a minute, Irma. I can explain. That letter you found is from my mother.
Your mother? Amber, you were right.
Chicken, I don't know what you're mumbling about, but I'm bringing my mother to your apartment in an hour. So you'll be there to meet her, huh? Goodbye.
Well, dearie?
He says it's his mother. But Al is bringing over to my apartment to meet me.
He's probably having his girlfriend dress up like an old lady just to fool you. If I were you, the minute I got in the door, I'd grab her wig and pull it right off.
I'm still a lady, Amber. I just want to tell Al what I think of him, that's all.
Yeah, well, just tell him he's a 20th century Bluebeard with the spine of a jellyfish, and you've had your fill of his line. And that somewhere there's a man who'd like to meet a nice blonde like you.
Thanks, Amber. I'll try to remember.
And look, Irma, don't worry about losing that guy, Al. You can always get a fella up here in the Bronx. They may not be Noel Coward, but to me, pants is pants.
Come in.
Hello, Jane. I'd like to have you meet my mother. Just call her Mom.
Oh, I'm very glad to know you, Mom. Come on in. Make yourself comfortable.
Thank you, Jane. Albert has told me all about you. Where's Irma?
Oh, she'll be here shortly. I was just about to have some tea. You join me?
Oh, thank you. I drink as much tea as I can. You see, I feel that it helps Albert.
Helps Albert?
Yes, it comes from India. And Albert tells me he has a place there called the Taj Mahal.
Yes.
Oy vey, has Al been fibbing. February 23rd, 1948. My Friend Irma here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. We'll hear the conclusion coming up next, along with another part of a yours truly Johnny Dollar story. But before that, we've got these important messages.
No offense, but are you a little fat when you look in the mirror? How would you like to learn the secrets to lose 3 to 5 pounds a week easily, without joining the gym or going through any crazy diets? It's called Body Sculpt by Med Diet. For the last 2 decades, we've been helping people just like you that have pounds they want to shed. We've helped millions of people lose thousands and thousands of pounds over the years. And now it's your turn. Learn the secrets of how to lose weight with one simple phone call. You'll see an amazing difference in a matter of days. Don't believe us? We'll offer you a money-back guarantee. If you're ready to start losing weight right now, call right now to learn more about your risk-free order to Body Sculpt.
Call for your risk-free offer. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. That's 800-738-5332.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the conclusion of My Friend Irma, starring Marie Wilson, from February 23rd, 1948.
Well, Mom, I'm surprised I haven't met you before, but I don't suppose you come to Manhattan very often.
No, I don't like to bother my Albert. You see, I'm just a little old lady, and my son is so busy and so important. After all, it takes time to run a big business like General Motors and General Electric.
Excuse me. Did you say General Motors and General Electric?
Certainly. He also owns General Mills. But he doesn't talk about that. That's just for pin money.
Yes, I understand.
I keep telling Albert he shouldn't work so hard. After all, 1 million more or less, what does it matter? Your health comes first.
Ah, Mom.
Well, I guess it's better than having a son who's lazy and unambitious. Why, I understand some men never work at all. They just sit around and collect unemployment checks every week. But not my Albert.
Excuse me. It got kind of hard to swallow. The tea, that is. As you were saying, I suppose men like that are pretty low.
Yes, but thank goodness my Albert is different. I was so afraid he'd be like his father, Albert Sr.
He never worked?
No, he was always working on some kind of a deal, but never made a nickel. Married 30 years and didn't start to support me until after he passed away. Well, that's life. Insurance.
I wonder what's keeping Chicken.
Oh, I'm so anxious to meet her, Jane. She must be a wonderful girl, judging by the way Albert always describes her in his letters. Has she got a good head on her shoulders?
Well, she has a pretty head on her shoulders.
But is she smart?
Well, she's, here's Irma right now. Hello, honey.
Hi, chicken.
Al, you are a 20th century fish not filled up with jelly, and there are plenty of men who would like a blonde girl with a blue beard.
Hold it, chicken. Irma, this is my mother.
Oh, yeah?
Irma.
Please, I'm not so dumb.
Oh, I'm glad. They kept avoiding that question.
Al, who do you think you're kidding? What's new, Elizabeth?
Elizabeth?
Irma, listen. This is Al's mother. She comes from Elizabeth, New Jersey.
You mean... Oh, Al, I'm so ashamed.
Oh, well, it's very hard for most people to believe that a plain little lady like me could be the mother of such an important man.
Thanks, Mom. Forget bygones, Irma.
All right, and to think I was so angry. Why, I wasn't going to tell you that there's an extra check for you at the unemployment office.
No, yes, you see, yes, they wanted Al to check on how many men he needs for his new magnesium plant. I think it was 65,000.
A magnesium plant? So many men?
But yes, to milk all them cows. I'm going to make milk of magnesium.
Oh, but you don't understand. The man at the unemployment...
Irma, dear, honey, let's all go out and have dinner, shall we?
Oh, that's a great idea, but it's got to be on me, understand? Understand?
No, Al, no. You've been treating us to so many parties on your yacht and taking us to theaters and banquets and everything, and I insist on paying.
Well, I'll give in this time. This so won't make you class conscious. Here's my arm, Mother.
Here's your $10, Al.
Let's go.
At dinner, and it's really a wonderful family gathering. Irma is terribly happy because she's just turned to the mother of the president of General Motors, General Electric, and General Mills and Points West and said,
"Please don't worry, Mother. When Al and I get married, you're not losing a son. You're gaining a wife."
And you know, if that makes sense to you, you're no better off than my friend Irma.
My Friend Irma, presented by Swan, another fine product of Lever Brothers Company, was produced and directed by Cy Howard. Tonight's script was written by Cy Howard and Park Levy. Folks, next Monday evening, listen again to...
Our Friend Swan.
With My Friend Irma.
Starring Marie Wilson as Irma and Kathy Lewis as Jane. The part of Professor Kropotkin was played by Hans Conried. Ladies, listen. The shortage of fats and oils is still very serious, and it's worldwide. So please keep on saving every drop of used kitchen fat. Your butcher will pay you for every pound. Frank Bingman speaking.
February 23rd, 1956. My Friend Irma on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Next, yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Are you in bad pain? You know what I mean. Your knees hurt. Your shoulder hurts. Your elbow and back are constantly killing you. And I'm sure you've tried every pain pill or cream available at the drugstore. Am I right? Well, here's something you haven't tried. Pain Magic. Pain Magic is not available at any drugstore. The only place you can get it is by calling the special toll-free number I'm about to give you. And to make things even better, call right now and find out about our buy one, get one free offer. We're so confident it'll work for you that we offer a free bottle with your purchase. No prescription required. Call now to learn how you can get Pain Magic and get rid of your pain. Remember, your results may vary. 800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. That's 800-492-8164.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, Part 4 of a 5-part yours truly Johnny Dollar story, The Bennett Matter. This was originally broadcast February 23rd, 1956.
From Hollywood, it's time now for...
Johnny Dollar.
Andrew Cord, Johnny. Did you have a nice trip back here to Frisco?
I slept most of the way. How's it going?
Good and bad, Johnny. Good that we've got George Foley on trial for setting fire to the building. Bad that we haven't connected him to Bennett yet. And Bennett's the guy we want.
Well, once you get a conviction on Foley, you can go after Bennett.
A lot of expert testimony's been thrown around here, and the jury's been sleeping through most of it. Besides that, Foley's got one of the best defense men in the business, Jake Eggleston.
Yeah, I've heard of him. He's pretty slick.
He's going to make us lose this case, Johnny.
Not if I can help it.
Tonight and every weekday night, Bob Bailey in the transcribed adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to the 4-State Fire Insurance Corporation, 4065 Spear Boulevard, Hartford, Connecticut. The following is an accounting of expenditures during my investigation of the Bennett Matter. Expense account item 9, $124. Air transportation, Hartford back to San Francisco again. And the Bennett case, which I thought was finished with. I was at the Hall of Justice by 9:30. I met Andrew Cord outside of the Superior Court.
This may be the last day of the trial, Johnny.
Anything new since I talked to you on the phone, Andy?
Well, I may be worrying for nothing, since Finley's handled it all pretty well for the state. He's one of the assistant DAs, but Foley's still holding on to a not guilty plea.
Well, isn't that just coaching?
Well, maybe. But you remember Foley didn't make any statement when we took him, and the police got nothing out of him at all.
Foley had something like 28 arrests besides 2 convictions. He knew the ropes.
Yeah. Oh, that's okay, yeah?
Sure. Oh, just in time.
Yeah, seems to be the clerk now.
Yeah.
Court is now in session. His Honor, Judge William J. Bainbridge presiding. Everybody stand. Be seated. John Dollar.
Hey.
Well, I didn't think they'd call you first.
No.
Raise your right hand. You solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
I do.
Be seated.
As you know, I'm Charles Finley with the District Attorney's Office. State your name, please.
Johnny Dollar.
State your occupation, please.
I'm an insurance investigator.
How long have you been engaged in your profession as an insurance investigator?
10 years or more.
Now, tell us, please, prior to that, what kind of work did you do?
I was in the United States Marine Corps for 4 years. Before that, I was Detective Sergeant 2nd grade with the New York Police Department.
Do you have any papers or letters in your possession that verify your professional status, Mr. Dollar?
Yes, I do. I have letters of reliability from 13 insurance companies and adjustment bureaus I've been associated with, and my record as police officer.
Thank you. Will the court clerk please hand these papers to counsel for the defense so he may examine them?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Now, tell us what your connection with this case is, Mr. Dollar.
I was employed by the 4-State Fire Insurance Corporation of Hartford, Connecticut, to conduct an investigation in regard to one of their policyholders.
Arnold Bennett.
Yes, Arnold Bennett.
Will you please tell the court what the results of that investigation were?
The Bennett building was destroyed by fire. I worked with arson experts from my own organization and with the police here to determine the cause of the fire.
Go on, please.
At the scene of the fire, our expert, William Underwood, located certain items which we recognized as part of the paraphernalia generally used by professional arsonists.
Will you please state what those items were?
A scrap of celluloid and a paraffin wick.
Anything else?
Samples of the ashes, which were later analyzed and proved to be celluloid ashes.
I wish to remind the ladies and gentlemen of the jury that the public fire adjuster, the gentleman from the Skyline Laboratories, and the 2 gentlemen from the Fire Inspection Department have previously testified as to the identity and uses of these items. Will you continue, Mr. Dollar?
Well, these particular items suggested that the fire was of an incendiary origin. The next problem was to establish the exact method used in starting the fire.
Were you able to determine that method?
Yes, sir.
In order to refresh the minds of the jury, would you mind describing what was established?
A heavy woolen wick.
This one, Mr. Dollar?
That one, or one like it.
Exhibit C. Please continue.
This wick had been soaked in paraffin and then stuffed into a paper sack that was filled with celluloid. It's a simple method. The wick is lit and takes anywhere from 3 to 10 minutes to burn down to the celluloid. Now, once that happens, the celluloid flares up and fires anything combustible in the vicinity.
And that is the method you determined caused the fire in the Bennett building?
Yes. And I'd like to qualify that by saying the arson experts from my own company and the gentlemen from the police and fire departments here in San Francisco determined it definitely.
Mr. Dollar, by this means, you connected the defendant, George Foley, with the fire you were investigating.
Yes, we did.
How?
George Foley improvised the method I have just described.
Improvised? You mean it is his method?
I object, Your Honor. The prosecution is putting words into the mouth of the witness.
I'll rephrase for Mr. Eggleston. Is this method identifiable with the defendant?
Yes, sir.
Will you explain the identification?
The police files here show that Foley has been convicted of setting 2 other fires in this state. On both occasions, he employed that method of fire.
Your Honor, I object.
The career of the defendant as a professional arsonist is a matter of public record.
The defendant's previous record has no bearing on this case. I object.
Mr. Dollar, will you rephrase and delete any reference to the defendant's criminal history?
The procedure in locating an arsonist is to first establish the method of operation. In this case, where the wick celluloid method was used, the defendant's name came up immediately. The defendant made an attempt to call on Arnold Bennett in the hospital. The defendant was positively identified by 3 witnesses as the man they had seen near the Bennett building prior to the fire.
I remind the jury of the testimony of those witnesses. Go on, Mr. Dollar.
The police crime laboratory examined all of the clothing Foley was wearing at the time of his arrest and all of the clothing in his room. There was definite evidence that he had been in the Bennett building.
Will you tell us what sort of evidence, please?
Well, paint smudges on the soles of his shoes and metal filings in cuffs of his trousers, compared with samples that were still available in the building, where certain painting and metal work had been in progress.
You connected him with the improvised method of firing. You proved that paint smudges and metal filings came from the Bennett building. The defendant attempted to contact Arnold Bennett. What else?
Arnold Bennett's niece, Elizabeth Bennett, informed me that her uncle, Arnold Bennett, hired the defendant to fire the building to collect insurance. I was on the stand all the rest of the morning. When Finley ended his questioning, he turned me over to defense counsel Eggleston. Eggleston contested every bit of established testimony and recommended that my remarks be stricken from the trial records. The summations came right after that, and then the case went to the jury. Expense account item 10, $3, lunch for Andrew Cord and myself.
Foley has to be convicted or we'll be on the defense when Bennett's insurance claim comes to court. And we'll probably get stuck with it.
Hey, while the jury's out, why don't I go over to the jail and talk with Foley?
Now, what good would that do, John?
Well, Foley must know they'll give him the works if he admits something to us.
He'll admit nothing. He sits there in court like they were talking about someone else. Oh, Johnny, it's too late.
Yeah, but if he did, you could go ahead and file criminal charges against Bennett. Beat him to the punch.
Well, I'd like that.
Oh, we get Foley and we've beaten Bennett, and I like that. The job of getting to a prisoner who's standing trial isn't an easy one, especially when he's under the surveillance of a smart defense attorney like Eggleston. I talked to Judge Brainbridge in his chambers and told him what I had in mind. I broke down the case against Foley as the insurance company saw it, and the possible case against Arnold Bennett if Foley was found guilty. Judge Brainbridge arranged for me to see Foley. He was sitting on his cot. Eggleston was standing nearby.
Hello, Dollar.
Hello, Eggleston.
Hi, what do you want?
Well, I thought we ought to talk about this thing while there's still time. If it's okay with you, Mr. Eggleston.
It's okay with me, Dollar. I'll be right here. Still time for what?
To get you part of a break, Foley.
Oh, that's a real good one, that is. You sit on a witness chair all morning, you tell them what a bad boy I am, then you walk in here and tell them you want to give me a break.
I do.
Go away.
Now, wait a minute, George. It won't hurt to listen to him.
Oh, you're a great one, you. I'm the guy who's sitting in this cell. Both of you can walk out of here and have a good steak for dinner tonight.
All right, George. Listen to him. This isn't a courtroom.
When you were first hauled in, Foley, you could have made a statement telling us Bennett hired you to fire that building, waived a jury trial, and thrown yourself on the mercy of the court. But you didn't do that. You made everybody work hard to give it to you. And that's exactly what they're going to do. That jury will come out pretty soon and throw the book at you.
Hey, is that true? I'm not so sure of that, Dollar. Tell us precisely why you're here.
You both know my company's after Arnold Bennett. He's filed claim against us for not paying off his fire policy. Foley, we know he hired you to fire that building.
Yeah?
And if you're smart, you'll send for the guard and make a request for the court to come back in session before the jury returns. You can tell them Bennett hired you. You can change your plea to guilty and throw yourself on the mercy of the court. It'll probably save you 5 years on your sentence.
So I turn hero and make everything nice for you to go after Bennett.
If you do that, his claim will be thrown out to the insurance commission and we'll prefer charges against him.
And he'd be right up there with me, huh? Making little ones out of big ones.
That's right.
You're overstepping your province here, Dollar.
Oh, now, look, there isn't much time.
Dollar,
Foley, this man can advise you to wait until the jury comes in, and that won't be very long. But then it'll be too late for you to help yourself.
I don't like this high-pressure stuff.
I don't care what you like or dislike, Mr. Eggleston. Now, listen, Foley. They've got an 8-point case against you in there.
Is he right, Eggleston?
It doesn't make any difference. The jury decides.
You say it saved me 5 years on my sentence?
Yes.
George.
What do you think?
Up to you, George. I've told you what I think.
Ah, swell spot, swell.
Oh, come on. What is it?
I'll risk it.
You're crazy.
There's a chance those 12 clunkheads will walk out and tell everybody I'm not guilty. Come on, get out.
Those last 5 years will be pretty hard ones. Guard.
Thank you for the offer just the same, Dollar.
You don't use your head much, Foley.
If it hadn't been for you, I wouldn't be in here. So don't worry too much about what happens to me.
If it weren't for guys like you, I wouldn't be in business. And I'm not worried.
Dollar?
Yeah?
Yeah, I hope they let me loose on this one. For your sake.
Don't plan on it.
On account of... I'd like to kill you or something.
Now, here's our star to tell you about the final intriguing episode of this week's story.
Tomorrow, a verdict in and out of a courtroom. The wind-up. Join us, won't you? Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, starring Bob Bailey, is transcribed in Hollywood. Written by John Dawson, it is produced and directed by Jack Johnstone. Be sure to join us tomorrow night, same time and station, for the next exciting episode of Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
February 23rd, 1956, yours truly, Johnny Dollar, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Our webpage, classicradio.stream, where you can stream our shows on demand, learn more about classic radio collecting, contact me both through social media and directly at classicradio.stream. Our shows are also available at iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker, TuneIn, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Just search for Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Please thank this radio station and support their advertisers, and most importantly, tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.